Hello friends, RockLeeSmile here, and today I have prepared for you a root beer gauntlet. Yeah, that's what we're doing. I've got little shots of root beer with weird flavors in them. We're going to do that today. What kind of weird flavors do I have, you might ask? We've got Tropicana Pina Colada, which is a delicious drink all in and of itself, and I recommend it. I don't know how it's going to pair with root beer. It might be horrible. We're going to find out. I've got Vita Coco pressed coconut water. It's also a pretty okay drink. I don't know if it's particularly thirst quenching, but I like coconut water, so it's all right. We've got some lemon juice. We're going to put lemon juice into root beer and see if it's horrible. We've got, well, this is a bit more standard. I think you probably heard of this. It's just milk. We're just going to try milk. And last but not least, Tapatio Hot Sauce. We're going to try hot sauce and root beer. And what root beer is it that we're trying? We've got some standard freaking A&W. You've probably had this before. Well, if you're in America anyway. Now, I happen to like root beer quite a bit. I feel like it's one of those flavors that just doesn't exist in enough things. It's not everywhere. It's not constantly being talked about. It's not Coke and Pepsi. It's kind of off to the side doing its own thing. Just being root beer, living its life. But what if we could take root beer up to the next level? Maybe there's something out there. And I think milk has already been done, but I'm going to try it anyway because I've never done it before. I think it's just like a root beer float, and I've had a lot of those. I love root beer floats. I actually prefer Coke floats. I like Coke with vanilla in it. I don't know, or coffee, or mint chocolate chip. I mean, they actually kind of work, to be honest. If you've never had those, give it a try. Maybe you like it. So I'm going to prepare our first root beer shot, and I'm going to start easy and work toward Tabasco. I think that's going to be our most exotic root beer concoction. So I'm just taking a little bit for each. I'm going to do like a quarter of the glass with root beer, and then a quarter of the glass with milk. We'll go like 1 part milk, 1 part root beer here. And we'll give that a toss back. The idea of carbonated milk, I know that's a nationally recognized thing. Not as much in America. It just looks like an ice cream float. I have a feeling this is going to be quite tasty. I think I've read that it is. That's delicious. That's like 9 out of 10. No complaints. It smooths out the kind of bite of root beer into a really nice creamy undertone. I can't recommend that enough. In some ways, it's even better than an ice cream float because you don't have to contend with waiting for the ice cream to do that thing where it like causes the insane amounts of foam at the top. It's just like a nice little delicious creamy treat. Oh, you gotta try that. That's delicious. Scrumptious. Do it. That's probably going to be the best thing we're going to have today. Next one, we're going to do the pressed coconut milk. I'll see if that has a similar kind of undertone to it. I'm not entirely convinced it will, because actually coconut milk has quite a strong particular flavor to it. I'm actually going to give this a bit more of a shake before I pour it. Just coconut cocktail, well, it's probably pretty good. I don't think it's going to be revolting or anything. It's definitely made the color of the root beer a little bit less enjoyable. We're going toward like a dark tan, I don't know. Brownish yellow. Not the best color for a liquid you're about to ingest. Let's give it a go, shall we? Ooh, don't like the smell off of it, actually. It smells like the worst. Imagine if you were baking bread, but it was baked wet bread. I don't know why I know what that smells like. All right, let's have a sip. No. That's definitely not as enjoyable as the milk. The milk was like pure perfection. I mean, I can't hate it. I tolerate it. I like the taste of the coconut, but it does clash quite a bit. There's a certain level of sort of acidity, a bite that I described with the root beer, and there's also a different kind of very kind of nuttiness, earthiness to the coconut water that sits oddly against the taste of the root beer. It doesn't have that delicious, like, dairy treat feeling to it. I'll finish it, but it's like, I wouldn't do that again. I wouldn't call it a mistake, but it's not a treat. If you toss it back a little faster, it's not as bad. There was a moment there where I had a similar sort of endorphin release that I did to the milk concoction. Maybe it was just because there's a little bit left. I don't know. All right. Not my favorite. Next, we're going to do the Pina Colada mix. I don't want to go too hard. Like, how many shots of root beer do I really need? I think I get the flavor in just a tiny little dab. If you don't know what this Pina Colada Tropicana drink tastes like, it's pretty much just like it says on the tin. It's pina colada flavor. It's got a bit of a citrus bite to it, more citrusy than you'd expect. It's not amazingly sweet. It is sweet, but it's not crazy sweet. And it actually has a little bit of a coconutty undertone to it as well. It's just as I said, as you'd expect. How this will pair with root beer? Well, let's find out. I'm a little worried. Fruity plus root beer. I mean, it could be a big mistake. And then we'll find out if this is a mistake. Lemon juice is probably going to be a much bigger mistake. All right, the color is, it's more root beery than the last one, which was very diluted tan. This is much more root beery, kind of pure root beer color. Oh, the smell is very strange. I can kind of sense both different smells at the same time. There's the tartness of the pina colada and the root beer both happening at once, but they're not mixing. They're both just coexisting in the same world. That's very strange. It feels like I'm getting parallel sensations. It tastes almost as odd as it smelled. It's not bad, actually, but it's not good. My first impressions, it almost tastes like bubblegum. I don't think my mouth understands what to do with that information. It's like as if my tongue became taste phobic. I can smell as it goes into my mouth, and then as soon as it's in there, my tongue just goes, I don't know. Is it water? It's like sparkling water, but like then there's sort of bubble gum over here and root beer over here, and then like a little bit of like a pina colada over here. It's in my beard, apparently. It's not bad. I like it more than I like the coconut water, actually. But it doesn't make sense. It's not something to recommend, but it's fine. It's just weird. There's no occasion when you would want to drink that. It just is a thing that I did once. And that's the last time I'll ever do that. Yeah, it was fine. Okay, next up, we're going to go hard into lemon juice. The realest of lemons, Rie lemon. I think we all know what lemon juice smells like. Incredibly acidic. It's a nice smell. I actually quite like lemons. I was strange as a child. I would eat slices of lemon like people eat orange. Just take like a you know, a quarter of a lemon, just wedge it in your mouth and enjoy. Even stranger still, I like to put salt on them. Salt and lemon. It's like a nice pairing. All right, let's see how much I'm going to put in here. I put quite a bit. Just a couple of drops would probably be all you need. I think I put like a tablespoon in there. I'm going to give it a little mix. Wow. It's potent. You can smell the lemon juice way over you can smell any of the root beer. The lemon juice has taken over this glass. Hasn't done anything meaningful to the coloration. Color's the same. Maybe it could be slightly lighter, but that's kind of how it works, right? I mean, I'm so used to putting lemon juice into tea, and it goes from, you know, very dark brown to like a much lighter version of itself. I think this is going to be awkward, maybe unpleasant. I don't think it'll be vomitous, but if it is, well, I've got the garbage can right here. Let's see. Not only is it not vomitous, it's actually okay. As it turns out, the lightness, the bright acidity of the flavor of the lemon juice, it actually rises up above the root beer in such a way that both the root beer and the lemon juice flavors can coexist at the same time. One doesn't seem to overpower the other, at least in the amount that I put in. It's kind of like a more floral, engaging version of root beer that has like another level of depth to it. Have I done something here? Have you ever done this? It's not bad. It's almost refreshing. I guess it vaguely mutes the root beer flavor in my mind, because I've had quite a bit of like Coke with lemon and stuff. I think maybe I'm sort of erasing the root beer and replacing it with Coke in my head. It just tastes like I'm drinking a cola now. The root beer flavor is still in there. It's just cloaked perhaps a bit by the lemoniness. There may be something to this. You may want to mix different varieties and amounts of lemon juice with it and see how that works out. Not bad. Actually not bad. I was expecting that to possibly make me gag. But I don't know enough about, you know, food science and flavors to really know what's going to hit the worst. Well, my natural predilection would be to say that the Tapatio Hot Sauce is probably going to hit the worst out of these five. Five, right? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think this is going to be the awkward one here. But I don't think it's going to be as bad as it might be. My reasoning is sweet things and hot sauce can work together. I just don't understand how the complexity of a root beer flavor is going to necessarily enmesh with the complexities of this particular hot sauce. Let's find out. We're going to give it a 1, a 2, and 3. Jesus Christ, that looks horrifying. Well, that's definitely the worst looking thing, by far. I'm going to mix it up. It's reddened the foam. This hot sauce, if you don't know, it's not a particularly spicy variety. It's like a mild, warm kind of hot sauce. I wouldn't call it anything to blow your socks off or anything. It's just the hottest thing I've got in the house at the time. The color is definitely redder. It almost looks like it has a cherry undertone to it now. All right, here we go. Yeah, no, that's kind of unpleasant. Well, the first thing that came to my mind was this is horrible, and then immediately following that, I got a shot of, like, you know those cinnamon fireball candies? Quite a bit of that, actually. And then it sort of receded away from the cinnamon flavor back to the separation of hot sauce and root beer, and then they clashed more, and it felt bad. And also, I can, like, feel it in my stomach immediately. Also, I just ate a bunch of things separate to this that would not go well with the hot sauce, so I think I'm just only going to take that tiny little sip. There may be ways to figure that out. There might be certain hot sauces that will sit well with the root beer flavor. I don't think this was one of them. I happen to like the flavor of this hot sauce, though, so it's kind of, like, not as bad as it could have been, necessarily. And maybe if you can find one that sits even better with the flavor of the root beer, it'll kind of dissolve away and just leave you with the spice and then the root beer flavor. That's kind of what I was hoping. But this is quite a flavorful one, I suppose. So I don't know if I would recommend that one, but it didn't make me want to hurl anyway, so thankfully none of these were that bad. And I'm not one to say that I have, like, a particularly high tolerance for gross foods or anything. Probably not the lowest tolerance either, but I definitely can find myself gagging a bit if things are not good. But we've had the whole range here. We've had milk, which is actually a hero. If you didn't know, you should get yourself some milk and put it in some gosh darn root beer. I always thought it was going to curdle and it was going to be horrible, but it just tastes like melted ice cream. It's so good. Just like a little vanilla treat for you. We had the Vita Coco. I don't know about this one. Probably skip this one. It's not as nice as the milk, and it doesn't add anything to it. The Pina Colada flavored Tropicana drink. It's all right. You know, it's not so bad. I probably wouldn't do it again, but at the same time, I didn't hate my experience. The lemon juice. Actually, all right. Not bad at all. I think there are ways that this could work. And the Tapatio, you know, I don't know if this is the right answer to this problem, but there may be a better answer out there. What hot sauces have you put in root beer? Let me know in the comments below. Probably none would be my guess off the top of my head. Are there any flavors of root beer or augmentations to the flavor of root beer that you think could be interesting that I haven't thought of? I bet there's hundreds. I thought about putting cinnamon in it, too, and I was like, it's just going to make me gag. Cinnamon never goes down well, as you've probably seen in prior years here on this YouTube website. I actually still have other drinks that are left over in the fridge, but I felt like you guys were probably getting tired of it, so I thought I'd go out with a root beer gauntlet with the Nick's Weird Drinks segment. If you'd like to see more, though, please do leave a like and let me know in the comments, as well as, you know, whatever's something you're curious about. I still have other coconut drinks. I have that chia seed drink. If you really want to see more, I wouldn't mind doing more, but yeah, let me know. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the Root Beer Gauntlet. See you next time. Have a good night. Bye.